You'd think it would be your overweight friends who would change the most. I don't know why. That's just what I thought. But it was the skinny friends. Your skinny friends change the most.
I debated talking about this because I don't want it to seem like I'm creating drama. But at the same time, I always tell you guys that being on a bariatric journey or any leveling up journey to begin with is an extremely lonely thing. I've talked about losing friends. I've talked about ending things with my fiance the moment that I started to really want to better myself. I've talked about experiencing society in a smaller body is very eye-opening and makes you have trust issues. And you would think that the people who have gone through the same experiences as you is someone that you can trust. I had a friend that I would consider that I was very close to. We would send voice memos to each other all the time. We would FaceTime. We were sending each other videos of our kids, like all that. We pretty much talked every day. We were supporting each other and always rooting for each other because that's what you need going through this process, right? I noticed I didn't see her post on Instagram for like a couple days, so I texted her when I noticed that her Instagram was completely gone. I was like, hey, did you delete your Instagram? She pretty much told me that she had to remove me because she couldn't stand seeing my post anymore because my success was making her feel like a failure. And she was like waiting to tell me. And I went back and forth with her for a little bit because I was like, are you serious? Was our entire friendship fake? Was any of it real? And it hurts because I'm such a genuine person and a genuine friend that I am so happy for all my friends and their success. And like this has happened to me multiple times now on my journey where I think that someone is rooting for me and someone is supporting me, but they're really not deep down. This is exactly why I have such bad trust issues and I don't want to let in anyone new. Every time I open up to someone new, I literally regret it.
I know this is going to be a really hard listen, but people respect you differently depending on how you look. So I weighed 245 pounds and I've lost a little over 100 pounds. And my day-to-day is completely different from when I was 245 pounds. I wasn't seen as competition, so I wasn't like hated, if that makes sense. But now it's weird because when I walk in a room, I feel the energy completely shift, right? When I did weigh more, I was treated poorly by men, and now I'm treated poorly by women. It's weird.
Just got back from the gym. Let's talk about it. I have lost over 80 pounds in the span of a year and a half. And why is it that during weight loss you lose all, if not most of your friends? And let me just kind of tell you guys a little bit of my experience. So I had a friend who I would go out to eat with all the time, always be snacking on, binge eating with her. And the second that I started losing weight and like picking better options whenever we would go out to eat, she would always clown on me. She would be like, just take it as a cheat day. Why are you being extra? Like basically just making me feel like crap for trying to eat better. I had other friends that I hung out with after I had lost a lot of weight already, and they weren't used to me getting all the attention that they were used to getting. Therefore, they just overall stopped hanging out with me. Because some friends honestly just have you there to have themselves feel better or look better. And it's honestly very sad. And I know a lot of chubby girls are gonna know what I'm talking about when I say this, but we all see it. Like a lot of us have been in friend groups where, you know, most of them are skinny and the skinny girls are closer to each other. The skinny girls like will take pictures together, they'll record each other, they'll throw you in like the recording here and there, but you do see how different they treat each other. Even just like talking to each other more, just being closer, and they kind of just have the chubby girl there as like the plus one. And I know back then I would never want to see it like that, but I always notice those little things and it sucks, honestly. It isn't until you lose weight that you realize how badly you were treated when you were chubby. I knew I was treated different because I was chubby, but I never thought it was to that point. But yeah, not only friends, but people in general just treat you different. Also, I had friends who I couldn't hang out with all the time. You know, I had to go to the gym, or I had to just stay within my macros, and I just couldn't go out to eat, stuff like that, or couldn't go out to drink. And they wouldn't really understand. Therefore, they just kind of stop inviting you out. So that's exactly what I mean when weight loss is a very lonely journey. But I'm here to tell you guys that it is completely worth it. You find yourself as a person, you become stronger, and you don't rely on other people anymore. So weight loss is definitely worth being a little lonely.
So I just wanted to answer this question in a video reply because it's a lot to unpack. Basically, if you're on a weight loss journey, just know that you may lose some friends. The real ones will stick around, but basically, I just feel like some people are not used to change. And I remember I was getting a lot of compliments during my weight loss journey, and maybe they didn't like that. They were just used to me being the chubby girl in the background and just always saying yes to everything. I do remember those friends telling me that you've completely changed, like you're so different now, you used to be funner. And I have completely changed. I am not the same person that I was a year ago, and I'm happy to say that I love the person that I am and that I'm becoming. And the friends that I do have now, I love those girls. I feel like we're aligned with what we want. There's no hater vibes. Also, if it didn't fit my macros and I were to get invited somewhere, I just wouldn't go, and that led to them eventually not inviting me anymore, which is okay because, like I said, I did change. I am not the type to party every weekend anymore. That's not who I am now. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. I am grateful for the people that have been in my life, and you know, I feel like it's all a learning experience. And at the end of the day, you got to put yourself first, because if you don't, then who else will? Yeah, it is what it is, and keep it pushing. If you're on a weight loss journey, girl, it's rough.
Okay, so what happens when you finally lose all the weight? You're gonna have a lot of people being like, oh girl, what's going on? You looking sick, you sure you okay? You losing too much weight, you getting so small. They're just lying to you, sis. You're still a little chunky, you gotta keep going. They're just lying to you because you're starting to look really good and they wanna stop your progress. They're like, hold on now, wait a minute, you can't be looking better than me.
I know a lot of us are going through the motions right now. Weight loss can have a funny effect on the people in our lives. And what you'll soon begin to notice is that as you begin to lose weight, is that people around you will start treating you differently as your body begins to slim down. Friends might become frenemies, while complete strangers might become your biggest supporters, like the ones that we meet here on TikTok on this platform. I am now starting to experience those things. Personally, I haven't weighed myself in a while, but the last time I did weigh myself, I was down 76 pounds. It's definitely very unexpected, mind-boggling to say the least, and it can be somewhat mentally draining. I am one of those people that was not overweight my entire life, so I've been in this space before where I could accept those compliments and be okay. I know a lot of you are struggling with adjusting to this new lifestyle and your new body, and then also the way that people are now beginning to treat you. I say that to say this: don't forget about the person you were, all because of the new body that you're in, and don't forget the person that you're going to become. Use your journey as a message of empowerment and strength. Use your platform to educate others, because there's so many more people on this platform that don't have the slightest clue about bariatric surgery, yet they have so much negative things to say. Be happy in your new body, regardless of whatever the reason was that you had the surgery is done now. Stay humble, because this journey will expose those fake friends that you've had around you. And it will also allow you to build new relationships that were probably better off for you in the first place. And stop allowing people in your circle that's purposely there to dim your light. Haters come in all shapes, forms, and sizes. And if you're one of those people that just want to project your insecurities on other people, get a grip on yourself.
you ought to be ashamed of yourself, for real.
As a girl who used to weigh 255 pounds, it's so crazy looking back at old friendships and looking back at girlfriends that you used to have and realizing that they were never your friends. Unfortunately, a lot of chubby girls don't like to say this, but a lot of these skinny friends that we have aren't actually our friends. They just like to have us around to make them look better. To see it where it would usually just be like the +1 friend, and they would always take pictures with the prettier friend, with the skinnier friend. They wouldn't really take pictures with you, or they would try not to include you. Also, I always felt like the third wheel. I always felt like the third friend. I always felt like the afterthought. They would love to coordinate with each other and not with me. I also felt the need when I was a chubby girl to have their approval, to always be the one to reach out and make plans, or felt like I had to do more to be included. Keep in mind, a lot of these friends dropped me when I lost weight. I remember going to the club with some of my clubbing friends. This was already when I was like 60 pounds down. I was constantly getting hit on at the club, and this was something that never used to happen. I know my friends would usually be the ones to get hit on. They noticed this as well. They actually brought it up to me at the end when we were leaving home from the club. And they voiced how upset they were that they didn't get asked out to dance, and I did. And they never invited me out ever again. I also had other friends where we would go out to eat and I would order something on the more healthier side, and she would get upset. Like, she literally got mad at me. She's like, why you're doing too much? Why are you being hella extra right now? Eat out, just pig out, like, who cares? And then she stopped hanging out with me. Like, there's just so many situations where it was actually so crazy. Weight loss isn't only a physical thing. Like, it is mentally so insane to see how much people switch up on you when you lose weight. You realize that the friends that you had before weren't really your friends, and then it becomes even more difficult to make friends now that you've lost weight and you're conventionally more attractive. I feel like when I was chubby, even though they weren't really my friends, they were much nicer to me. Like, they would hype me up, they would compliment me. But now that I'm more attractive, like, it's definitely harder to get a compliment, or people assume that you think you look good, so they don't tell you that you look good. They don't compliment you. Me, I always love to hype up all my girls. Crazy how mentally relationships change overall. But yeah, it's definitely something you won't relate to unless you've been on like both sides of the spectrum.
Why did I just see my high school gym teacher ordering Domino's? That kind of defeats the purpose, no? Anyways, that's a great intro. That's crazy. Anyways, the topic is I had way more friends when I was fat. And did. I have one consistent friend right now. And do. That's the truth. People are just so weird when you lose weight. Part of it is like, damn, I just noticed this. But also not, like, something rises within them that it's like competitiveness or just passive aggressiveness, seeing everything as like, you gotta one up me, like, just because I'm not a fatty. Like, what? I bit my lip, by the way. This was like supreme fatty like moment. I bit the fuck out of my lip trying to eat, and I kept on eating. I bit it again, so it's like super swole. The weirdest part for me is like feeling some type of way because I'm confident now. How do you feel some type of way because I'm confident now? How does that affect you? Why does it affect you? Why are you being weird because I'm feeling myself? Because I making comments like, oh my god, Sophia, you take so many photos of yourself. Oh my god, Sophia, like, stop looking at yourself in the mirror. Why are you mad that you don't like yourself? Have you thought about that one? I had one friend, nah, that shit pissed me off. Like, I should have cut them off sooner. I had one friend that would never compliment me when I was fat. Oh my god, yes, mamas, you look so fucking good, mamas, yes, leg queen. Bloop. I lost weight. Not once did they ever say I was pretty. They would literally eat everybody's ass besides mine in our friend group. Excuse me? And I peeped and I was like, no, I'm crazy. I'm not fucking crazy. You're fucking weird. And a lot of instances like that, instances like those, where like people that used to be really sweet and attentive, but yeah, no, it's just a lot of ugly ass energy comes out, and I'm not for it. I've never been for it. I've always been a very like type of bitch, but honestly I toned down on it when I lost weight because I gained a lot of anxiety after I lost weight. For some reason, like, I just felt like I was really seen. Didn't like it. I was like, stop staring at me. But And that sounds crazy, but like, unless you're an ex-fat, if you know, you know, and if you don't, then you don't, and that's for you to deal with. VIP. But you know, it's a lot of animosity that grows, and you just have to cut them off. Also, when I was fat, I had really bad boundaries. Still working on those, like, you know, I'm just a girl, but I didn't realize how much I lacked boundaries, and I lacked self-respect, and I didn't hold people to certain standards because I didn't really have standards to hold them up to. But then, not with just losing weight, but just growing up and my frontal lobe developing and having better friendships and better dynamics and going to therapy and just all these things, I've been able to find a balance in that. And for now, that means having one friend, and I'm cool with that. I'm dandy with that. But moving forward, I'm very questionable about who I befriend, because it's been clear to me that people that I used to be like this with, knew for such a long time, did not fuck with me, did not like me, because the second I started feeling good about myself, they stopped liking me. Because when I was a depressed fat bitch, they loved my ass. Oh my god, Sophia, let's go here, let's go there, no, I'll pick you up. Lost the weight, don't want to see me, don't want to hang out with me, don't want to talk to me, don't want to compliment me, don't want to support any of my achievements or any of my milestones with me. As ASAP said, friends turn to foes, and foes, they be fake. Be very selective who you're friends with, and keep getting sexier.
So I've seen a lot of conversations on this app recently about what happens when you lose a lot of weight and how people treat you differently. And one of the things that a lot of people say is that people who ostensibly like were your friend when you were fat will ditch you because they only kept you around to make themselves feel better. Now, as a fat person who has been fat my whole life and has pretty much always been the fattest person out of my close friends, I kind of feel like I have done this. Like, I kind of feel like I have distanced myself from people after they lose weight. But because I'm fat, it's not coming from that same place. It's coming from a place of I don't feel safe with them anymore. And I know that sounds really dramatic, but a lot of the time when somebody loses weight, it's all they want to talk about. It's all they want to brag about. And when they do that in front of me, it can sometimes feel very insensitive. When they equate their weight loss to being morally better, to being more attractive, blah, 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 and they talk about that blatantly in front of me, it makes me feel like they're calling me all the things that they used to be, even if that is not their intention. I may have been too hard on my friends who've lost weight in the past, but this has just always felt really dangerous for me to be around people who've lost a lot of weight, because they will evangelize to you. They will preach the diet that worked for them, and they sometimes want to fix you too. So I just want to point out that sometimes if a person loses weight and like suddenly some of their friends don't want to be around them anymore, it can be because of how they are acting, or at least how other people who've lost weight have acted towards those people in the past, and that can be very difficult to be around.
Hey y'all, so I just posted an update to my weight loss journey, and I thought about something. So, because I started off small, right? You hear, okay, let me back up. Because I started off small, I never obviously dealt with, I hear a lot of people in the surgery community talk about like how when you start losing weight, you start losing people around you, or you start losing friends, or people start acting funny with you, et cetera, et cetera. And I felt like I lived in this place of delusion where I was just like, oh, that's not going to happen to me, you know. But I also realized that I had never experienced that before to even notice it or recognize it, right? And I was just telling one of my clients the other day, I said, it's funny because when I was smaller, you know, people dealt with me a certain way. Like, I don't believe that I per se had like pretty privilege. I don't think I know that life, but I told you guys in the previous video that I thought I was ugly. So it might have been happening. I don't know. But I will say that I was definitely treated worse when I was smaller, right? And I talk about how like when I got bigger, people were nicer to me, or there was more people around me, right? So once I got this surgery, some people knew, some people didn't, right? I didn't really notice it, but now I see it. And I think that maybe because, you know, a lot of us deal with body dysmorphia, period. And I tell people this, even when I was small, like my mother can tell you, even as a child, I always had a fat complex. Always. Like I was 100 pounds child, and just I would see like Big Bertha in the mirror. So I think that plays a lot into it. I think my psyche just wouldn't allow me to see certain things because I just, in my brain, that's not where I was. Like I would not allow myself to wear crop tops and that. I just you guys would have thought that I was this pregnant dolphin looking person. I swear to God. So I look back now, right, and there's so much that has changed since 2022 when I had the surgery, right? And there were people that when I even said I was going to do it was like, oh, I'm so excited for you. Oh, this is so great. Oop, the Otay's going to come back, yada, 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 right? And I'm looking back now and none of those people are around. Like, the only people that are still like around are like family members, right? But like those friends, literally none of them are around. Like I have a whole new group of friends. Well, I'm not going to say none of them because that's a stretch, but the ones that I was really uber close to are no longer around. And then the people that were friends and were supportive and stuff, but we weren't that close, we're actually a lot closer now. And it's funny because I read this book. It's one of my favorite books. It's called You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. And she talks about how when you start to heal, you'll lose weight as well. And I've realized now that a lot of that is that as you're shedding physical weight, you're actually shedding dead weight as well. And that's what happened. So I noticed that like just in my life being busy or, you know, me being a content creator, and I would get like certain recognition online and things like that like I would get people that be like, I would even get those comments about like, oh, I can't stand all this fake support you're getting. Or I would have people that would tell me, oh, you think you're better than everybody all of a sudden. And I'm like, I still see 260 pound me. I don't even see one whatever me. Like, I don't even think at the time when it started to happen, I was even in the hundreds yet, y'all. Like, it's crazy. I've even had really close family members to me. And I will say I do appreciate that when I would bring these things up to them, they would check themselves. But the happier that I was in my body, the funnier they began to act with me. And part of me thinks that it's because I got my confidence back. And during that time, it wasn't just the weight loss for me. It was mental work too. Like, you know, I was working on my mental. I was doing a lot of healing. I was doing a lot of seeing a lady. You know, I talk about going to talk to the lady. I was doing a lot of talking to the lady. I was doing a lot of reading books. I was listening to a lot of sermons. I was surrounding myself with people that I knew genuinely gave a damn about me. And I think that's another thing, y'all, is like, I started to look at the people around me and I started to ask myself, like, why are people talking to me like this? Why are people treating me like this? What happened? How did we get here? And the only constant that I noticed was the weight loss. Because as far as like my career goes, I've been doing the same thing for years. Like, this ain't the first time I've gone viral. You know what I mean? It was all of that. It was weird. It was weird. It was like the me that used to dress up to go to work every day started to come back. The me that like cared about her appearance, the me that was no longer depressed started to come back. Now, let me tell y'all, this new me, oh baby, she got boundaries. Sis got boundaries. Because I don't want to is a complete sentence. Hello. No is a complete sentence. That's a good enough answer. And I think too, like, I'm not so anxious about feeling like I don't belong in certain rooms. Like, baby, imposter syndrome is still there sometimes. And I think that that's normal for all of us. But this imposter syndrome, like the imposter syndrome I had in the past was like, I'm too big to be in this room. I was very self-loathing and I would punish myself. Right. And so now it's like, I deserve to be here. Even when I feel like it, even when the devil gets into my mind and be like, girl, because then people are smaller than you, or you ain't got no flat stomach yet, or you can't wear this in this outfit, or your boobies don't sit up. I'd be like, girl, but whatever. I deserve to be here. Like, Fashion Nova gonna get me right every time, right? So I think that confidence is starting to bother people. Like, so now instead of them just saying, oh, I'm so happy for you, you look good, it's like, oh, okay, so you think you better than everybody. You know what I mean? Like, it's so like, So, to all of my girlies, to all of my weight loss girlies, to all of my girlies, period, because y'all know I'm a girl's girl. That's why I'm the good home girl. To everybody that is under the sound of my voice, if you are working towards, or you are in, or you are getting to the place where you are pleased with and happy with yourself, and others around you feel a way about it, I'm here to validate that for you and tell you that you are doing it right. You are doing something right. Let God release them people. Let God get them people away from you, because you can't get those shiny new friends that are supportive and give a damn about you and want you around and want to sew into you if you keep the haters next to you. They'll run them away. Believe me, I know. I've been there. There are people where it's going to be some people that it takes a very long time for them to come around. That's not your problem. So, whoever this was for, I hope it resonated with you, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. I love you, and so does God. Talk to y'all later. Have a great weekend. Bye.